My teammates are Joaquin, Aleisa, Gabi, and me. I'm Gina. Well, child abuse is a universal problem that has existed since ancient times. However, now it's a crime. Now it's considered as a crime. It is defined as abuse to children less than 18 years old. Child abuse includes physical harm, sexual, neglect, exploitation, or any other that can cause damage to health, development, or dignity to the child. Child abuse is cause of suffering for children and family, and it can have long-term consequences. Abuse causes stress, and it can change the development of the nervous and immune system. There are several types of child abuse, such as emotional, neglect, physical, and sexual. Some examples of these ones can go from yelling or bullying through violation.
Child abuse in our understanding is just broken bones or bruises, but it goes way beyond. This goes physically, internally, and emotionally, and it affects the child in ways that we cannot comprehend. There are some myths we think about child abuse, and one of the most common are 5 that I'm going to mention. First one is that it's only abuse if it's violent. That's one of the most common misconceptions about child abuse. You see, you think that when you hit just child, it's abuse, but you can harm him in more ways, like verbally or emotionally. It's just not only broken bones or bruises. And the second myth is only bad people abuse their children. And that's one of the other common myths. Not only bad people. It's true that poor families or in poor neighborhoods, you can see these kinds of problems, but this problem transcends all economic lines and cultural lines, and goes way beyond. The myth number 3 is that child abuse doesn't happen in good families, and that's just one of the other common misconceptions. Because you may see that a family has a good position or an economic position, but is not internally well distributed, if we can say so. And myth number 4 is that most common child abusers are strangers, which is also another common misconception. As you see, that's one of the biggest misconceptions. Child abuse can come from any person, and most commonly from people that are near to the family of the child. Also is that the myth number 5 is that child abuse can cause children to grow up to be abusers, and that's other misconception. It is true that it affects children in ways that can grow up to be like a cycle, but it's true also that children that do this process also grow up to be excellent parents and try to change the situation by making them change.
Well, there are many types of effects in an abused child. These problems both physical, emotional, and psychological effects that can be easily recognized when they are in early stages. Physically, a child may present malnutrition, growth retardation, and brain damage in the worst of the cases. Emotionally, to mention an example of physical abuse, a really hard injury in the head may cause brain damage, even blindness, paralysis, coma, or death in the worst of the cases. Emotionally, an abused child often exhibits to be passive or even immobile. This seems to be like a protective strategy from their part in response to the fear of attack. Emotional damage also affects the way the child communicates with others and how its future personality is going to be formed. That's why for some children it's harder to make friends or to establish relationship with other people. In conclusion, abused and neglected children, they can be like two commonly reactions to that type of abuse. They can be fearful and anxious, or even depressed or withdrawn. They may also become aggressive and start to hurt other people the way they have been hurt. These are clear signs that parents can identify, so they can pay especially attention to them to start solving the problem.
Well, I am Joaquin Osejo, and I'm talking about some statistics about child abuse. Well, a problem as big as child abuse can be like clearly explained with numbers or percentage statistics, and I'm presenting some statistics to you. The most common case of child abuse is child neglect, which is about 80% of all the cases reported in the United States, and the other 20% is distributed among sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, etc. Well, not as it is taught. I think Gabby already talked about that. And ethnicity and races are not like related to child abuse. In the statistics, we can see that approximately 50% of child abuse is from Hispanic and African children, and the other 50% is from white children. And in the other hand, the age of children is related to the probability to be a victim of child abuse. Mostly 27%, like 30% of child abuse is from boys, from child under 3 years old. Like the most young ones are most vulnerable to child abuse. And the gender affects also child abuse, because almost 70% of victims of sexual abuse are girls. Well, this is a very significant number. And also, yes, not the same happens to socioeconomic status. It's another thing that Gabby said. It's not related to a probability or vulnerability to child abuse. The reports came from any social class.
Well, in conclusion, many of the children who are abused tend to feel guilty. We don't have to forget that those children are the victims, and they cannot be blamed. Those who experiment abuse can have psychological problems, and if it's not treated, they can hurt others.